Rise Up Radar family. Man, I had a really fun conversation with my good buddy Chris. We recorded it, and it was so good. We cut it into two parts for you, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. But one little thing, we had some audio issues with the recording. I understand that, so they'll be resolved for our next show, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. Just power through, stick with me. We're going to have an awesome show. Let's get after it.
Rise up, winner!
Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Radar, where we keep the Falcons on your radar. Thank you for joining me, Stan Parker, for another episode. Let's have a ballin' show. Joining me tonight is a good friend. Chris is a huge Falcons fan, longtime Falcons fan. He knows the pains of being a Falcons fan, and it's just an honor and awesome to talk to him. Welcome to the show, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Stan. Man, it's so excited to be a part of this.
Oh, man. I'm glad to have you and glad you have some availability to talk to me. I know you're a busy man, but we're going to get straight to it. I got three pretty big questions for you. I want to get your thoughts, and we can have a nice little conversation about it. So the first question is, which position group of the Atlanta Falcons in 2020 is the strongest on the team?
So before we even get into this, I have to tell you two things about myself.
Okay, shoot.
I am an optimist, an eternal optimist.
We share, I don't sound like it on half the podcast, but we share that a lot of we definitely are birds of a feather in that respect and just regular conversation.
Definitely so. And then I'm also, not only am I an optimist, I'm a homer.
Attaboy. There's nothing wrong with being a homer. It's not a cuss word. That's a real thing. Unashamed. Homer. And I'll go places, go see the Grand Canyon. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. Pick another monument, go out of state, and I'll wear the hat and the shirt. I look like a crazy man. I wear a Falcons shirt and a Braves hat, just repping the city. So
the last time I was in New Orleans on Bourbon Street, I wore a Falcons t-shirt.
And as you should.
Rise up.
Rise up.
So, favorite or what do I think the strongest position groups are?
Yes.
Well, I think the strongest position group clearly is quarterback and wide receiver. Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I love Matt Ryan. I get frustrated sometimes with some interceptions.
Right, for sure.
But, that's going to come with the territory when you pass it like we do. And
right.
And Julio's an all-time great,
right?
Who anchors that wide receiver group. So those two groups are great, and we know they'll be great, and we have to have them be great for us to have any chance of success.
For sure. And so I did the same thing. Is I put just plain out wide receiver. I am a Matt Ryan apologist. I will now when people see me in the street and they say, why don't they just cut Matt Ryan and draft someone or trade for, Brady? And there's the ridiculous circumstances around that. It's normal people talk to me and I can spout information off about Matt Ryan. Now, Matt Ryan has some deficiencies and Matt Ryan does. He's a certain type of quarterback for sure. And I understand that, but I am a really, really big fan of Matt Ryan. And we could be in that same draft. The Falcons could be in the same position as the Browns, the Jets, the Miami Dolphins. I mean, even San Francisco up until now, and even Jimmy G. I'm not even convinced he's all that good. So I mean, there's five at least. I mean, we're seven franchises who have had a revolving door, and the Falcons have had stability and excellence at the quarterback position. So, but my answer was definitely the wide receiver group. Julio, like you said, is all-time great, first ballot Hall of Famer. And then you got, obviously, Calvin Ridley. I think that Julio is starting to, pass the torch a little bit, kind of like Roddy and Julio together. So he's not retiring. It's not breaking news. But, just teaching him how to be a leader and how to be, a professional. And then the third option is Gage, and then you got Laquan Treadwell. So it's a really deep group.
Tell me about Laquan Treadwell. What are your expectations for him this year?
I think that he could possibly play in the slot and battle for wide receiver 3. And I don't think he'll contribute to teams, but I think that he will battle Russell Gage. He's a big body, more than I thought he was. Like watching like the little snippets they got on YouTube. And so I expect him to. I think they're going to revolve. I think they're going to have packages like it's not going to be wide receiver 3. It's going to be just all the time. You know how they do. So
and one thing I like about the Falcons is they use a lot of receivers.
Right. You'll
especially
see
when they get rolling. And so
you'll see somebody you've never seen before, number 17, Zacchaeus Amaleus, and I butchered that name, but like you'll see people rolling through and you'll like, wait, who is that? You have to go pause it and go look at the depth chart. So that's, like you said, that's pretty cool. They just keep that rolling through. But when you got Julio, you could do that because everybody's terrified. Like, where's number 11? I think he's.
Let me throw this to you, Stan.
Yeah.
Can you think of a receiver that you just didn't know was on the roster and turned into like a major contributor?
Like in recent history?
Yes.
So like the first one that like jumps out in my mind is not Russell Gage, Taylor Gabriel.
Yes, that's exactly who I was thinking about.
Yeah, so like little slot receiver, you're like, who is this guy? Taylor Gabriel. Then all of a sudden became like just a little spark plug. Get him out on screens, and just a major contributor. And then they got some other guys like Hall had some big games, but mainly Taylor Gabriel was like the surprise. You're like, oh, okay,
and that's and that's what you hope you have from this group too. Which and like you said, having Julio allows that to happen.
Right, it takes a lot of pressure off of just him being doubled. They're going to circle him on the field, and you got other guys can eat. That's why. And then so I did this too. So like I'm a little extra, but I did like offensively, it's got to be wide receiver, and they're top 10 in my opinion. They've got some other good like receiver groups, but like defensively, I went an extra step farther. What position group is the strongest defensively? And my answer, and I'll give you a second to think, but my answer has got to be safety.
Well, so I cheated a little bit.
Okay.
Like I combined quarterback and wide receiver.
Yeah, that's completely fine. Yeah.
Probably unfair, but quarterback's not so much a group. If it is a group issue, then we're in trouble.
Oh goodness, yes. You're the old man. Old man.
Right.
Old man Schaub.
And that's true for almost everybody. But like, so for the Falcons, I was contemplating this. I kind of was thinking DBs.
Aha, yes, like it's a group, like defensive back and the secondary, like the defensive backs and safeties together.
Exactly.
I think that's all right. So I've heard other podcasts and other like stuff like reporting that's going to be a weakness. I don't think so, man. I think this group's going to play good, and I think the pass rush, the defensive line has improved some, if not held. I think they have improved, but the only improvement it's going to help is like any type of increase is going to help the defensive backs in the backfield. Like, they work together,
Yeah.
So like, I'm excited to see this group. They're young, they're talented, they're fast. And if Keanu Neal is the one, he's the linchpin. If Keanu Neal can can't make the club in the tub, listen, if you can't we can start having conversations of if he can't stay healthy this year, then we can have the conversation of, but right now as it stands, he's a key component of that secondary because you don't want to run on him.
Right.
So
no, I agree. I'm excited about him and I'm excited about Terrell.
Yeah. So they say that he looks good. He says he's physical and they say in training camps, through read articles, interviews and stuff that, he just is comfortable being a pro already. It's so in drills they were saying if one of the leaders is supposed to start a drill and he's kind of in the back of the line, AJ Terrell will jump up in front of a bunch of grown men and just do the drill first. So that's a big deal. If you ever been on a practice field or coached anything, it's in practice, it's still kind of nerve wracking of being the first one to run a drill.
Yeah.
It's like him like stepping up. It's like, hey, I'll do it. Let's run cones and stuff like that. So I think that's been a good sign. And I think he's gotten through. I'm really into the minutia, and I get it, and I really am like into all that stuff. But he's had 3 picks so far. So if we're counting,
well, what you said about volunteering to go first in a drill, a defensive back has to have an
swag,
unlimited amount of confidence.
Absolutely.
And they have to forget the failures and just go on to the next one and believe they're going to win every play.
That's such a good point.
So I like hearing that.
Yeah, for sure. And so those are my 2 answers there for the wide receiver and like safety defensive back.
I would also throw into that mix somebody I'm excited about because of how well he played down the stretch is KZ.
Oh yes, he was the reason why, not the reason why, but like I said safety because they're so deep in safety. So you got Keanu and Ricardo Allen, which would start anywhere, obviously. And then KZ is so talented, you have to get him on the field. And then they've drafted another safety, Jalen Hawkins. So they said that he's contributing already and is chomping to get playing time. And then they got another safety somewhere, but I can't remember. But Hawkins is a good special teams player. So I'm just excited about that group itself is deep. And Ricardo Allen, here's the deal. Here's the versatility of it all. This is why they're so good. Is because Ricardo Allen has played corner more than he's played safety. He got cut as a corner under the Mike Smith era, and then he came back and Dan Quinn took over. Works and was like, you should play. It was like, okay, sure, I'll play safety. So he's only been playing safety like 4 years in his life. And the rest of the time has been slot corner. So he still has slot corner blood in him. So he could jump down if KZ needs to see the field in a package. Say we got KZ in the back and Neil in the back, he could play slot corner. So that's a cool aspect there too.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So, all right. So then our second question is going to be, who will have a bigger year, Hayden Hurst or Todd Gurley the third? Is it the third? Yes, the third. Todd Gurley the third.
So,
yeah,
let me just say, I love Hayden Hurst.
Yes,
and I feel like the acquisition of him,
Red Thor,
from Baltimore, is huge.
I think it was such a smart move. Like contractually, it's just that was a find. Finding a dance partner and giving up very little to get him, and he is, contractually controllable. I don't know what term they use that now in the professional world, but you have an asset that you can control for he's still on his rookie deal. So if he balls, you can extend him and you've got him for a little while. So like you were saying, it was a huge acquisition.
He played for the University of South Carolina, and I remember when my favorite college team, Georgia, played South Carolina with him. South Carolina was down. I mean, they had no weapons, and Georgia could not stop Hurst.
Yeah,
they won the game, but Hurst was just he totally won me over then. I love his size. I love his tenacity, and I love the red hair. I think he might have cut it though. I don't know.
Oh no. But yeah, that's like you said, and just he brings, I feel like, and I don't obviously I haven't seen him play one snap in the Falcons uniform, but I think he brings a different skill set than Austin Hooper does. Austin Hooper I feel like was kind of like a finesse player, a little bit as a I don't know, he's athletic, obviously, but he never felt like he was a blazer.
You know what he reminded me of?
Who?
If you could have a hands receiver,
yes,
that's what Austin Hooper was.
Yes, and it's so funny you say that because 2 years Matt Ryan, 2 years ago, Matt Ryan had one of his worst career, worst interception years, and Austin Hooper was responsible for I did the math. It was 8 of his 14 interceptions that Matt Ryan threw was Austin Hooper hitting him in the hands, hitting his chest, popping up in the air, and the defensive back grabbing it. Putting one, trying just things like that off the fingertips and just tipping it over. It's just that year, this is, I mean, kudos to Austin Hooper for real. So like that year happened, everybody was like pooping on him, and he was he was horrible. And that year, that offseason, he went and stayed with Matt Ryan. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
He slept on his couch and like got up every day and like worked with Matt Ryan. And so like within that vein, Hayden Hurst is they saying like a lot of the Orlando Ledbetter had this and like all the other like outlets had it that Matt Ryan and Hayden Hurst are already like building chemistry and stuff. So
I love hearing that.
Yeah, so I think that's and
Matt
feel
Ryan
like
always, I feel like Hurst has more of a danger to him than even Hooper did. I might be wrong, but I feel like he's more of a threat.
Yeah, he's faster. I mean,
after he gets the ball.
Yeah. He's. I think he's got a better catch radius too. So like,
and he's bigger, isn't he?
Yeah, he's bigger. So, I think that's. I mean, honestly, I think that's an upgrade. It has the potential to be an upgrade. Obviously, they have to lace them up and play the games. But I'm excited about Red Thor there. So the question.
To answer your question,
don't dance,
though,
Chris.
Todd Gurley
is going to have a bigger
needs to have the bigger year.
Oh, needs to have the bigger year.
I feel like if he stays healthy and does what we think he can do, it'll transform Atlanta's offense. It was already great in passing, but so bad in running. If we're all of a sudden good running the ball and passing the ball, that takes us back to a few years ago when our offense was hard to stop.
Right.
Helps your defense. I just feel like the whole season pivots on that running back position and our ability to run block with Gurley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I probably put too much pressure on Todd Gurley in my mind.
Yeah.
But we got to have Gurley running the ball and running effectively.
Right. All right. So I think that Todd Gurley. All right. So before I get started on that, did you see what happened to Gerald McCoy? It was a defensive tackle, like long-time defensive tackle for the Buccaneers, but he signed with the Cowboys, and he had in his contract he signed it. It said, "Hey, if you get a right quad injury, we can cut you." And
wow.
They like in his like the language of his contract. And guess what happened like 2 weeks ago or this week? He got a right quad injury and the Cowboys cut him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he kept his signing bonus, which I think was like $3 million, but they didn't have to pay the rest of his salary and it didn't count toward the cap. And so the skeptic in me, which creeps up sometime, I think the Falcons might have slipped some language in like Todd Gurley's contract. Don't you think they would be like, hey,
sure.
If you get ACL, like if you get that knee messed up, we could cut you. But his number is so low, I think that I talked myself out of it. But I'm still like in conspiracy theorist mode. I'm like, because I remember Thomas Dimitroff was like, because there was questions about Todd Gurley hasn't passed a physical yet. Todd Gurley hasn't passed a physical yet in Atlanta uniform. And Thomas Dimitroff came out like cool as a cucumber and was like, oh, we're not worried about it. He can, So I'm like, oh, is there something written? Because I mean, he's sweating bullets over there. They signed this guy, and his number's low, but like, you signed this guy, and you don't know if he can go or not. I would imagine that would be you're still playing like signing other people's money away. But what if he had that deal, huh?
It's scary. The excitement level that Todd Gurley brings.
Oh, dude. Oh, my gosh.
Chart.
Just hyped up. You see him wearing, Primetime's number at like 21. Now, what I'd like to see him wear, was it 30? But, yeah.
He was 30 at LA and he was 3 at Georgia.
3, yeah. I would have liked to see him wear 33. That would have been cool. But,
yeah, would have.
Yeah, so.
I was watching a commercial for something the other day. And, Gurley, it was like 3 or 4 NFL stars were on.
Yeah.
Gurley's one of them. And, just seeing him representing Atlanta and the popularity he has, it's really good for the franchise.
It's so like, is massive as Julio is, and like first out Hall of Fame, like every person top 100, like last 5 years, like top 10, like best players in the league, and Julio doesn't do any of that stuff. And it's just a different, you know what I'm saying? It's a different. He's a needle mover.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking him standing in the backfield, just pre-snap changes plays.
For sure.
Changes defensive plays. So your answer is going to be Todd Gurley is going to have a better year?
I told you I'm an optimist.
Okay.
So I think he needs to. How many receptions does a tight end have versus how many carries does a lead running back have? You know, I know that varies based on the game plan and the offensive coordinator, and I know they're going to limit Todd's touches to a degree,
right?
But I hope they're able to kind of pull the governors off a little bit as the season goes on, and they see they can carry it. So,
for sure,
you know. And I know a tight end does more than just receive; they're blocking, they're doing
yeah.
But I feel like Todd Gurley is going to have a great year. The optimist in me does, at least.
All right, so I went the other way, and my answer is going to be Hayden Hurst because of all the things we previously outlined. I think he's an upgrade. I think he brings a different skill set. I think he is a 3-down tight end. You don't have to pull him off for running plays. Like, you know, Austin Hooper would come out and Luke Stocker would go in and be like, all right, they're loading them up. You know, I guess they're coming with a run. So, like, I think he can stay on the field for the 3 downs. But I am not convinced that TG3 is going to give us 16 games. And therefore, Hayden Hurst, I think, will give you 16 games. I think Hayden Hurst will have a bigger season than Todd Gurley.
It was a hard decision for me to say that, and so I can't argue against what you're saying. I'm just hoping that whoever has the bigger season, he has to have a monster season to do it. Meaning,
yes, it's a neck and neck, right? Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. So, I mean, if it's neck and neck like that, but like you said, even if it is neck and neck, Todd Gurley wins because the hype train that is behind Todd Gurley, especially being in Atlanta, especially being, you know, it's not even his hometown. People are like, he's coming back home. You know, I hit me from like North Carolina. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he's from Burlington, North Carolina.
Yeah. But anyway, it's awesome. But I absolutely love, like you said, being in that Gatorade commercial and like doing other like fantasy football like commercials and stuff, and not, you know, getting all social media and stuff like that. I just love that. It's like bringing awareness, but bringing attention to Atlanta in a positive light, not the other kind of attention that we sometimes get. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Rise Up Radar. If you like what you heard, go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review. And if you have any questions, if you have any show suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. And thank you for listening again. And until next time, rise up.